Vecna's plan in Season 5, Volume 3 is not about opening another gate or launching a final monster attack on Hawkins. It's about using the Upside Down as a structural bridge to collapse two dimensions into one. Season 5, Volume 2 quietly changes how the Upside Down works, where Vecna is actually operating from, and why the children he has taken are essential to his endgame. Once those pieces are put together, Volume 3 stops looking like a normal finale and starts looking like a controlled collision between worlds. Before we break all of that down, a quick note. YouTube analytics show that 97% of the people watching this video are not subscribed. If you're enjoying deep Stranger Things explanations like this, subscribing genuinely helps the channel grow and lets me keep making these long-form breakdowns. Now let's go step by step through Vecna's plan and why Volume 3 is structured the way it is. For most of the series, the Upside Down was presented as an alternate world, a dark reflection of Hawkins where the show's monsters originate, but Season 5, Volume 2 reframes this completely. The Upside Down is not a separate world with its own ecosystem. It is a wormhole-like structure connecting the real world to another dimension entirely, referred to as the Abyss. This means the Upside Down functions as an in-between space rather than a final destination. It is not the origin point of the Demogorgons or the Mind Flayer, but the route they use to cross over, and this distinction matters because closing a gate does not solve the problem if the structure itself remains intact. As long as the bridge exists, movement between dimensions is still possible. Volume 2 also makes it clear that Vecna is not simply hiding deeper within the Upside Down, but operating from a higher dimensional layer known as the Abyss, which is presented as the true origin point of the creatures connected to him. Rather than invading Hawkins directly, Vecna is positioning himself to force the Abyss downward, using the Upside Down as a temporary structural channel, meaning he does not intend to remain there once his plan reaches its final stage. Inside the Upside Down version of Hawkins' lab, the group discovers a floating, unstable phenomenon described as exotic matter, and this substance is not just a power source, but the stabilizing force holding the wormhole together. The Upside Down exists because this matter keeps the dimensional walls intact, and when it is disturbed, space begins to destabilize almost immediately through shockwaves and environmental breakdown. This establishes that the bridge can collapse, and that such a collapse would affect both connected dimensions, which is critical because Vecna's plan depends on keeping the bridge stable only long enough to complete the merge. Volume 2 then confirms that Vecna has captured 12 children from Hawkins, not as an act of random violence, but as a calculated decision, because the children are being used as psychic amplifiers. Vecna has always relied on external minds to extend his influence, and by linking multiple children together, he increases both the range and intensity of his abilities. The ritual-like sequence where the children hold hands and enter a trance shows that they are functioning as a connected system rather than individual captives, making them a power network rather than symbolic victims. This approach follows a pattern Vecna has already used before through Will, who was not simply possessed, but used as infrastructure to build tunnels, spread influence remotely, and prepare the environment for future gate openings. The difference now is scale, because instead of one child, Vecna has 12 operating simultaneously, allowing him to apply far more pressure to the bridge separating the dimensions. Holly's storyline then reveals how the dimensions are physically arranged, because when she escapes Vecna's lair, she does not enter the Upside Down, but the Abyss itself, confirming that the dimensions are stacked vertically rather than separated side by side. Her near escape through a crack leading toward the Upside Down shows that movement between layers is already possible, especially as the bridge weakens, and Vecna, pulling her back, demonstrates his control over the space between dimensions. Vecna's objective is not domination of the existing world, but destruction followed by reconstruction, aligning with earlier dialogue where he describes reshaping reality rather than inheriting it. The children provide the energy, the bridge provides the pathway, and Hawkins provides the entry point, which explains why Hawkins matters specifically, since it has already been structurally weakened by repeated gate activity, making it the most viable location for the dimensional collision Vecna is attempting to cause. By the end of Volume 2, the group forms a plan based on what they now understand, which requires entering the Upside Down, reaching the radio tower, jumping into the Abyss during its descent, confronting Vecna directly, rescuing the captured children, destroying the exotic matter, and escaping before the bridge collapses, with each step depending entirely on precise timing. Failure at any stage results in total loss. Will's role becomes especially dangerous because his abilities come from exposure to the hive mind rather than inherited power, allowing him to interface with Vecna's system, but only at close range, making him both an asset and a liability during the final confrontation. Vecna understands this better than anyone, having already used Will once, and the final battle taking place inside the Abyss increases Vecna's leverage even further. The narrative structure of Volume 2 makes it clear that stopping Vecna will require extreme risk, because the heroes must allow the merge to approach completion in order to reach Vecna at full exposure, implying that survival is not guaranteed for everyone involved. Vecna's plan in Season 5, Volume 3 is therefore based on structure, amplification, and timing rather than brute force, with the Upside Down acting as the bridge, the Children acting as the power source, and the Abyss acting as the destination. Stopping Vecna requires dismantling that system from inside while it is actively collapsing, and whether the group can do that without permanent loss remains the central question of the finale. What do you think? Can Vecna's plan be stopped without someone dying, or has the story already made that outcome unavoidable? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more detailed Stranger Things breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe, because it genuinely helps the channel grow.